Coming up on WVUA 23 News, we have a cold front moving through, but what does that mean? Stick out to find out.
And the University of Alabama's homecoming was brighter than ever. What new experiences had alumni excited during the annual prep rally? And Amtrak and Mobile city leaders have broken ground for returning train service. When will service begin between Mobile and New Orleans? WVUA 23 News starts right now.
This is WVUA 23 News.
We're glad you're with us, and I'm Laura Vale. Topping our news tonight, the University of Alabama just celebrated the timeless tradition of homecoming as alumni and the community joined together for the fun. UA's 2024 homecoming parade kicked off this morning as tons of football fans and alumni from all over came together to celebrate the Tide. WVUA 23's Jocelyn Malave takes us there.
One of the most memorable events of the football seasons is the annual homecoming parade that runs through downtown Tuscaloosa and the UA campus. This year's theme for UA's homecoming is New Era, Same Standard, and many fans were excited. The homecoming parade not only brought together many current students, Tide families, and Tuscaloosa residents, but it also dug up its roots and attracted many UA alums as well. Nancy and Marty Lee even have special front row seating that they look forward to almost every year for the parade.
My mom and dad met here back in the 60s, and she and her brothers both went to school here. My uncle was actually SGA president in 1965, and so we've been watching the parade on this corner for a long time.
Married for 34 years, the Lees share two daughters, ages 32 and 29.
And we brought them when they were 3 and 4 years old, you know, that kind of thing. So we've been coming to most of the parades during that period of time. Just sometimes we would visit, but most of the time we would try to make it.
Another couple says that they met in Alabama and even got married while in college at UA. Michelle and Craig Childs were at the parade with their son Trey Childs in support of their daughter, who is in her first year at the university. They say that the Crimson blood runs deep in their family.
So we've been coming to games since, I guess, the mid-90s, so a good over 30 years now. And this will be the first one where we have a daughter who's a student here. And she said she spent hundreds of hours putting in pumps into the float, so we're hoping to see her as she rides by.
But their daughter isn't the only personal connection they have to the Tide. Michelle spent her years at UA in the $1 Million Band and says it's easily one of the best parts of game days.
Yes, I'm very biased toward the $1 Million Band. It will be my favorite thing to watch at the football game, although we do love the Crimson Tide and Roll Tide.
Local in Tuscaloosa, I'm Jocelyn Malave, WVUA 23 News.
The National Alumni Association also hosted its tailgate on the quad today for returning alum. Friday's homecoming events were brighter than before with the first ever drone light show. The annual homecoming pep rally featured a bonfire, the crowning of homecoming queen Hannah Adams, a performance from the $1 Million Band, and a drone light show. The 500 drone light show provided more than just a spectacle for alumni, as Alabama students gained hands-on experience working. Students from UA's Tusca UAV Drone Club assisted with setup and gained behind-the-scenes access during the show.
Tusca UAV is partnering with Pixis to provide some extra manpower as they go about setting up for the homecoming drone show. They've got 500 drones for this show, and when each drone needs its battery swapped manually or needs to be readjusted on the grid, having more hands just helps make that process easier. We're helping set the grid, we're helping plug in batteries. We're going to get to watch some of the larger operations where we can't be hands-on, but we're watching them from places where most people aren't normally going to get to watch them.
The Tusca UAV Drone Club is through the College of Engineering and offers the chance for students to interact with drones and the applications they're used in. Turning now to sports, WVUA 23 sports anchor Sam Hawley joins for a first look at what the Tide accomplished today. Sam?
Yeah, thanks, Laura. Coming into today, Alabama had played 4 SEC games, with 4 being one-score games, so there was no reason to expect anything different. But Alabama made a statement earlier today at Saban Field in Bryant-Denny Stadium. The Crimson Tide got off to a slow start in this one, scoring only 3 points in the first quarter, and they didn't get into the end zone until under 2 minutes left in the first half. But from there, Alabama controlled the game throughout and got the best performance from their defense all season, allowing 0 points and forcing 3 interceptions. And the offense found its rhythm after a lackluster start. Jalen Milroe finished 16 of 26 with 215 yards, and Alabama had its best game running the ball since the season opener against Western Kentucky, finishing with 271 yards on the ground. Head coach Kalen DeBoer noted his team wasn't perfect, but he also said that he thinks his team is on the cusp of taking a leap heading into the bye week.
You know, there's always areas we can correct and be better. We got to have some better awareness with some things, just, you know, living in the gray area on some stuff, and it's hurting us just from really, you know, taking a big step. And I feel like we're just right on the edge, and so we'll get a chance to hash through those areas.
A lot more to come later in the show, including a full game recap and reactions from both DeBoer and players later in sports. That's all for now. Laura, back to you.
A new era has begun for the Alabama Crimson Tide under Coach Kalen DeBoer. DeBoer is now walking the victorious path that both Bear Bryant and Nick Saban have paved in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Many agree that DeBoer has some big shoes to fill after taking over for Nick Saban, who is one of the best head coaches the program has seen. With the Tide ranked at 15th so far this season, DeBoer is surely feeling the pressure, but some fans say that they still have faith in his abilities to turn this season around.
He's always won everywhere he went, and I'm still believing in him. I think it's a big change, and I admire him greatly because he came after Coach Saban. So that was, I don't know many people that would want to do that. So I am still giving him a chance. I think he's a great coach, and I think everybody should give him a chance. Roll Tide.
Head coach Kalen DeBoer and the Crimson Tide will next face number 8 LSU on November 9th in Baton Rouge. Molly Starr joins us in the studio to look at this week's forecast. Molly, can we still expect dry fall air?
Hey Laura, yes we can, although I am kind of hiding something. We do have a really small chance of rain tomorrow, and it's honestly made its way into the state already, but we'll stay dry for the beginning of your week. Again, we see another really small chance coming up Thursday, Friday. Now these are due to cold fronts we have moving through. As we can see, we have these clouds and these few little systems out there moving their way down in, and this is a very weak cold front. We're not going to see much temperature variation, but it does allow these little storms to pop up and move through, but I'll have more details for you in just a few minutes.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and Federal Railroad Administrator Amit Bose were among government and Amtrak officials to break ground on a new train station. The station in Mobile will service the Gulf Coast. Amtrak will resume passenger services from New Orleans to Mobile after Hurricane Katrina destroyed the rail infrastructure in 2005. The train station is being funded in part with federal dollars from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act of 2021.
It has taken a lot of lifting and pushing and funding and partnership across state lines, across party lines, across the public-private line in order to make this happen. But now we are here celebrating the work that's going to reconnect Mobile to a larger passenger rail network, supporting these communities with those high-impact investments and long-term upgrades that they deserve.
A start date for the service has yet to be announced. Election Day is just 10 days away, and the deadline to request an absentee ballot is next week. To receive an absentee ballot, your request must be received by October 29th. You can return the ballot in person until November 4th by close of business. It must be received by November 5th if you're returning it by mail. Coming up, former President Donald Trump is under fire for remarks he made at a recent campaign event, how this affects his campaign and what his supporters say. And President Joe Biden arrives in top state Pennsylvania to campaign for Harris. What response the president has to Trump? Those stories when we return. Former President Trump spent Friday night campaigning in the critical battleground state of Michigan. While Trump has always been known for his colorful rhetoric, things have escalated. CNN's Jason Carroll has more.
Kamala is mentally impaired.
The next president of the United States. In the final weeks of his third White House bid, Donald Trump is dialing up his inflammatory rhetoric.
We can't stand you. You're a vice president.
The former president offering a mix of crude comments.
Arnold Palmer was all man, and I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. When he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say it. I had to say it.
Along with racist and sexist comments about his Democratic rival.
I think she's dumber than hell. She's lazy as hell.
During public appearances, Trump at times telling meandering stories.
I mean, I saw a solar field come, and I'm in favor of solar, but it's not the same thing. It's got to fire up these massive plants. It's not going to. But I saw a solar field the other day that looked like it took up half the desert. I'd never saw anything like it. It's all steel and glass and wires, and it looks like hell. And you see rabbits, they get caught in it, and for the environmentalists, it's just terrible.
Trump has repeatedly pushed back on criticism he is racist or sexist, claiming women, blacks, and Latinos love him. While there are many similarities between Trump's latest campaign and the previous two, his speeches are longer than they used to be, according to the New York Times, lasting an average of 82 minutes, compared with 45 minutes in 2016. Democrats seizing on Trump's lengthy remarks, criticizing his lack of focus and sharpness.
Have you seen Mr. Trump lately? He's out there he'll give like 2.5-hour speeches. Just a word salad.
The GOP nominee is seeking to put a different spin on his rhetorical style, saying he's not rambling, he's weaving.
I do the weave. You know the weave? I'll tell a story and I'll go from here being Pimpa. It's actually genius, I have to say. And fair and smart people say it's total genius.
If it is a word salad, some Trump supporters are eating it up, whether outside Trump Tower in Manhattan. What do you make of some of these statements that he makes, and have you heard some of them?
That's the mainstream media passing around fake news like they always do. Groceries have gone up like triple, and I'm hoping that people are going to think about that when they go into that voting booth.
Or at a rally in Michigan today.
That's just his style, but that's the style that got him all the support. That's the style that got this movement started, so if it's not broken, we don't fix it.
Trump supporters who CNN's Jason Carroll spoke with say Trump's rhetoric doesn't matter to them. They care about his position on the economy, immigration, and national security. At an event in Pittsburgh today, President Joe Biden described Trump as a loser. Biden took the stage at a Laborers International Union of North America Get Out the Vote event in Pennsylvania, a top target state for the candidates. Biden's remarks were to the union workers in Philadelphia, a group of voters that has given major support to the Democratic Party until recently, as labor politics have shifted, specifically in Rust Belt states where Trump is favored.
Donald Trump is a loser. He's a loser as a candidate, and more importantly, in my view, and I'm just going to say it straight up, he's a loser as a man.
President Biden told the crowd of union workers that Trump opposes many benefits, including pensions. CNN is hosting a town hall with Vice President Kamala Harris in Chester Township, Pennsylvania, Wednesday night.
Well, still ahead, we've got a cold front moving through with quote-unquote colder temperatures. Stick around after the break to find out more. Well, happy Saturday night, and it was a hot day out there. Now, I stayed inside all day, but our actual temperature we reached here in Tuscaloosa, 87, average for this late in October, 73. The record's only 89, so we weren't that far off. And honestly, some places almost hit it. Over here in Mississippi, Columbus hit 88, we hit 87, Birmingham 86. You can see where that cold front was already moving in today in Haleyville and Coleman sitting at 82. Temperatures are feeling a lot better right now. We've got 60s all across the board, 61 here in Tuscaloosa. Ironically, our cooler areas are the most warm right now. We got 67 in Coleman, 69 over in Gadsden, and 64 in Birmingham. But like I said, we have a cold front moving through. It is weak, so it won't be doing too much, but we're only expected to reach the low to mid 80s tomorrow. We can also expect a few more clouds. We'll wake up in those upper 50s, low 60s, and gradually move into those upper 80 or lower 80s, excuse me. So let's take a look at this cold front. As you can see, it's just a band of clouds, but we have these little systems developing. We even have some popping up down here. Now, usually we'll have a little storm, more of just a shower this time of year, pop in front of this cold front. And like I said, it's a very weak front, so we're not going to cool off too much, but what we can expect from this one, it's going to move in tonight. It's already started to move down here in Tuscaloosa. We can expect these slightly cooler temperatures and spotty isolated showers. You're not going to get much out of this. A little bit of rain gone by Monday. More clouds moving in than we saw over the past week. And that's it until we have, again, this same little chance as we get another small little cold front Thursday and Friday. Now, it's also Halloween on Thursday, so what can you expect for that trick-or-treating time? We've got the 80 to 65 degree area. We're going to be cooling off quite a bit as we move into trick-or-treating. And honestly, with these temperatures, like I said, we're cooling off a little bit compared to last week when we were in those mid to upper 80s, but we're only moving to the low 80s. We've got 82 Sunday, Monday, 83 through Thursday, and again, we're climbing up into our lows a little bit. We got 58, 59, honestly just kind of increasing by increments of 1. But let's look at this extended forecast so you can see all the details. Now, we do have that 10% isolated shower risk tomorrow. A little bit cooler temperatures. There's not much to discuss with in the temperatures, just a little bit cooler. We can see that next little cold front moving in Thursday on Halloween. Now, Thursday also has a 10% chance of rain as well as Friday. Obviously, these are a few days out, so Laura will keep you guys updated on that. That could grow, that could shrink.
Yeah.
You never know with the weather, especially this time of year. Why are we in the 80s in October?
Right, and you know, I normally complain about a little bit of rain, but I think Alabama needs it.
I think we do. We haven't had any at all this month.
It's been very dry. So, all right, well, WVUA 23 sports anchor Sam Hawley is in for a look at sports. Sam?
Yeah, coming up in sports, Alabama hits its stride on both sides of the ball against Missouri and got back in the win column in a big way. The complete story is on the way next. WVUA 23 Sports. Welcome back to the news at 10. I'm Sam Holly. Alabama responded 1 week after their heartbreaking loss to Tennessee and what some fans are calling a statement win over Missouri. Alabama played with their college football playoff hopes on the line today, but it wasn't pretty at first. The Tide led 6-0 late in the first half as neither offense could build momentum, but everything changed when Brady Cook left the game. Backup Drew Pine comes in. His first pass is an interception to Malachi Moore, who returned it for 31 yards. Now Alabama's set up with perfect field position, and Jalen Milroe finds Emmanuel Henderson for a 28-yard pickup. And Jam Miller gets in on the very next play to send the Tide into halftime with a 13-0 lead. The first drive of the second half, Alabama marches right down the field. Milroe fakes right and then dives in for a 9-yard score. And then on the very next possession, Pine back to pass. But he's intercepted by Bray Hubbard. This sophomore safety, starting his first career game, comes up with the pick. Now, late third quarter, Milroe gives it to Miller again, who takes it in for an 11-yard touchdown to put the Tide up 27-0. Ryan Williams had a quiet game today, and he had a second career game without a touchdown. But this 26-yard reception brought Alabama back into striking distance into the red zone. The Crimson Tide rushing offense was dominant today with 271 yards on the ground. As you see Justice Haynes run across your screen, joining in on the fun with a 35-yard house call. Now, on defense, Missouri got inside the Alabama 40-yard line just one time all game. Here are the Tigers with a 4th and goal, and Marcus Carroll is stuffed. Alabama dominates and comes away with a 34-0 win. The Tide rises to 6-2. Kalen DeBoer was proud of the effort the Swarm defense gave his team, and that this game will help propel Alabama through the final stretch of the season.
We really felt like, they were a well-rounded team. I know they lost the quarterback there, but even when he was in there, we were doing some really good things defensively. And so the run game has been something that really gets them going, and I thought we were around the football. I know at the end they popped a couple when we had some different guys in there, but I'm really appreciative of the physicality we brought to the table. And the execution, just being where they're supposed to be.
I was more proud of them after that game. The way they faced adversity, the third and fourth quarter to keep going out there and fighting for some of the older guys to want to go back in to make sure they didn't score that last touchdown. There's a lot of pride and a lot of fight in that locker room, and we're all disappointed with the result. We all came with a plan to win, and it wasn't our day today.
We also caught up with players after the game, and quarterback Jalen Milroe said the improved play on offense was due to better communication.
With communication, Coach Sheridan, Coach DeBoer talk about during the week, how can we be great communicators? I think that's so important for us as an offense, is how can we communicate the best, and how can we be effective when we communicate. I think that's something we did a really good job with throughout the whole game, throughout the whole week of prep, just the communication aspect of it.
It's very important to have a great run game as well as a great passing game, because when you have a balanced offense, that really opens up the playbook to whatever Coach Sheridan wants to call.
Coach Sheridan called a great call. Just executed the play, followed the offensive line. They blocked the behinds off on that play. The receivers blocked great. J-Mill gave me a good handoff, just one-on-one in the hole.
A look at Kyle Field, where the 14th-ranked Texas A&M Aggies played host to the 8th-ranked LSU Tigers. First and goal on the Texas A&M 2. Garrett Nussmeier throws the corner route to Mason Taylor, and he gets a foot down for the score. Tigers lead 10-0. A&M down 10-0, but they come back first and goal at the LSU 7. Le'Veon Moss runs it in from 7 yards out to make it 10-7. LSU led 17-7 at halftime, but things have kind of crumbled for them in the second half as Texas A&M leads 38-23 late in the fourth quarter. The University of West Alabama secured their 6th win of the season on Saturday, defeating the Juwan. SEC scores around the country. Ole Miss defeated Oklahoma. Oklahoma was up 14-10 at halftime, but Ole Miss came back in the second half to get the win at home. Arkansas throttled Mississippi State on the road. Just been a rough year for the Bulldogs so far. Vanderbilt almost upset Texas A&M, almost upset Texas, but 3 turnovers proved to be the difference. Texas pulls away with the win, 27-24. And then Auburn picked up their first SEC win of the season, winning 24-10 over Kentucky. And the University of West Alabama football secured their 6th win of the season on Saturday, defeating the Chuwan Hawks 38-0 at Tiger Stadium on homecoming weekend. Number 18, West Alabama defeated Chuwan on Saturday, holding the Hawks to a season-low 187 yards of total offense, which propelled the Tigers to their 2nd shutout of the season. Kareem Keith threw 2 touchdown passes. DeQuan Quincy ran for 156 yards, and Alabama State held off Alabama A&M 27-19 on Saturday in the 83rd annual Magic City Classic at Legion Field. Alabama State led 17-3 at halftime and 27-3 heading into the 4th quarter. Alabama A&M closed the gap on touchdown passes of 56 and 31 yards from Xavier Langford to Keenan Hambrick. The Bulldogs added a 2-point conversion after each score and trailed 27-19 with 5 minutes remaining, but could not get any closer. Alabama State 27, Alabama A&M 19. That's it for sports. More WVUA 23 news after this.
And that's our report for tonight. Thank you for joining, and always keep in touch on WVUA23.com.